His single Stomp On reached the top 40 iTunes country songs chart, and he held the title of International Music and Entertainment Association Male Country Artist of the Year. His latest single, Hey Bro, was released just 2 weeks ago, and he will star as Johnny Cash in an upcoming film production. Please welcome Matt Westin to the Better Each Day podcast radio show.
Welcome to the Better Each Day podcast radio show with Bruce Hilliard. Today and every day, reaching out for innovative ideas in every way. Today's show is brought to you by your future. It comes with a lifetime guarantee. Make a better stay now, baby.
Yeah, the thing that caught me here, not only a musician, you're an aspiring actor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, actually, I'd pursued acting before I pursued music professionally. So I've been acting, part-time for well over a decade. Yeah.
And you'll star as Johnny Cash in an upcoming film production?
Yeah, that's a pretty big deal.
I guess.
Going to be a young Johnny Cash. Yeah. It's like a multi-million-dollar project too. It's nothing small. So pretty honored to be a part of that.
Any idea when that's coming out?
That's right. No, we didn't film it yet.
Okay.
We didn't film it yet, and it's looking like we're probably going to film it next year. But after we film it, it'll be released only a few months after. They're going to get it done real quick. So,
have you always been a country band?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've since I was a little kid, I can remember sitting in the back of my aunt and uncle's car, listening to Garth Brooks and like Alan Jackson and the stuff my dad would listen to as well. I've always liked it, and I like every kind of music you can think of, pretty much. But I just kind of gravitated towards country.
As a 10-year-old, did you ever have in your wildest dream you might be playing Johnny Cash in a movie?
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Actually, when I was 10, I probably wanted to be more in a kung fu movie than anything. Bruce Lee was like my favorite when I was a little kid.
Cool. That, in a strange sort of way, segues into one of your songs, Hey Bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what is that about? That sounds like you got each other's asses, basically.
Yeah, it's just a song I think a lot of people can relate to. It's like how they say, everybody says, hey, bro, to people. I say it way too much. But, brother from another mother, a lot of people can relate to that. Mm-hmm. And I have people like that I consider family that, one of them's from Korea, but he's my brother. So yeah, it's a good rock and country song that people can relate to. Actually, I had it easy. I had it really easy because my producer, Bryan Cole, one of his best friends, DJ Gleason, and a number one songwriter, an Emmy-nominated songwriter, Joey Scott. They wrote the song, actually. DJ and Joey wrote it. Oh. And when I heard the demo of it, I was like, you know what? I think I have to record this song. It suits me, and it's kind of how I talk too, a little bit too much sometimes. I call everybody brother, but I think that's because I watched Hulk Hogan so much when I was a kid. I call everybody brother. So, but yeah, DJ and Joey, they wrote a great song, and I was able to actually make good friends with them. Now I'm writing with them, and I think we knocked it out of the park with their song.
Here's Matt Westin and his latest release, Hey Bro.
Just a couple of rowdy renegades when we blew it up, tore it down like Jesse James had come back around. Getting caught, getting high. I took your blame and you took mine, saying, hey bro, I got your back. Dare anybody to go jacking with that? No, hey bro, I say beats me how we made it through life, but here we are living the life a little bit smarter, but we're slight sometimes. So we go for broke, pay the cost. Always said we were cut out of the same cloth. Some things never change, and here's one more that's still the same. Hey bro, I got your back. Dare anybody to go jacking with that? Oh, hey bro, I know you got mine, yeah. Some things run thicker than a bloodline. Got you covered, my brother, from another mother. Down in a back road you might go. Hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh. Hey bro.
Have you seen the Ken Burns country documentary? I never really understood the I don't know, the importance of Chris Christopherson in anything. And he was like one of the one of the highwaymen and this and that, and he just didn't fit into me. But now that I see what he did and this writing and stuff, he's pretty darn good. So kind of changed my mind.
Oh yeah, he's incredible. I mean, Sunday Morning Coming Down, that's an incredible song he wrote for Johnny Cash. You know, it's I don't think his style of songwriting would really be popular today, but unfortunately, but I think he's one of the greats for sure. And the Highwaymen, forget about it, man. That's one of my favorites. What a group.
Yeah.
What a group.
I don't know what you've written and what you haven't. Like Stomp On describes places that I've been. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it sounds like, I would have been there with you. Yeah. Yeah,
it's another relatable one. You know, everybody has their stomping grounds, their home base, or where they like to hang out, and I for sure have one. So I think it's another good rockin' country song that's relatable. It's got some testosterone to it, which is the kind of music I like.
Yeah,
you know.
At the hitching post side by side, gravel lot full of four-wheel drives. Bud Light sign says 50-cent wings, throwing darts in the back is where you find me. Stomp on, stomp on, stomp on into my stomping grounds. Come on, let me show you around. Stomp on into my stomping grounds. Stomp on, stomp on, stomp on into my stomping grounds. Come on. Behind the bar knows everyone's drink. Becky's showing off a brand new ink. My second cousin Kenny plays bass in the band. They're about to go on. Let's find a place to stand. Stomp on, stomp on, stomp on into my stomping grounds. Come on, let me show you around. Stomp on into my stomping grounds. Stomp on, stomp on, stomp on into my stomping grounds. Come on. singing the hey, singing the hey.
So you must be a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
Yeah, it's a little tough right now. A little tough to be a fan right now, but I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh, so
Yeah.
it's in my blood. It's in my family's always followed the Steelers, so do I.
Yeah, I was
The
around.
only team I hate is the Patriots. That's it. Every other team's okay with me.
You're not alone. You are not alone.
Yeah, I know.
The first time I ever heard of it, this is a rule that I've heard disputed many times, the Tuck rule back in 2001, I think it was. It was a playoff game, and Tom Brady looked like he was going to pass it, and then he decided he was going to tuck it away, and Charles Woodson hit him and knocked it loose. And it would have been pretty much the end of the game. The Oakland Raiders would have won it and gone on in the playoffs, but they said it was a forward pass. And then they came up with the Tuck rule. And that was the beginning of the dynasty of the Pats. And
and there's been shady things happening ever since.
I know. Every time I see something, I think, oh yeah, the Tuck rule, whatever that is. I still don't understand it.
Right. How convenient.
So,
I
know. So I'm with you on that. And I've always loved the Steelers because back to the Bradshaw days and Lynn Swann and those guys, they were just incredibly good. Fun to watch.
Yeah.
And
I have a Bradshaw jersey.
Oh, you do? Well, you must have been
Oh, yeah.
negative 15 years old when that stuff was going on.
Yeah, it was a little before my time, but I could still appreciate the history there. And it's safer to get a retired player's jersey because say you get an Antonio Brown jersey or something like that,
Yeah.
you never know when they're going to leave the team or what's going to happen. So I try to go with the legends.
You can't go wrong with Bradshaw.
Right.
So
Everybody loves them.
Yeah, you studied engineering in college.
Yeah, I double majored in engineering. I have a mechanical engineering and a biomedical engineering degree.
Wow.
Yep.
And that
I'm not an engineer though.
that could lead to only one thing.
It's not for me.
That could lead to only one thing: country singing and a role as young Johnny Cash. Yes, I always studied engineering. So.
Right. Who'd have thunk it, right?
Yeah, I could see.
Pretty incredible.
I can see you talking to an advisor, and they're saying, "Yeah, here's what you need to do to get to Johnny Cash."
Yeah, the Johnny Cash role actually kind of fell into my lap because I'd been pursuing acting for years beforehand. I had an independent film company, and I'd been in a few independent productions and met a lot of people. I lived in LA for a little while too. But I got a phone call from a friend of mine that I'd worked with years and years ago. And they said, "Hey, I just found out that this film I'm doing is casting for Johnny Cash, and I suggested you." I was like, "Oh, wow. Well, thanks for thinking of me."
Yeah.
And the producers called me, and I just so happened to have recording of me singing Folsom Prison Blues. So I sent them that, and almost immediately, it was within a half an hour, they unanimously just chose me. I was the only one they auditioned, and I got the role as Johnny Cash. It was almost like it was meant to be.
Wow.
And I'm really excited about it.
That's got to be cool. Yeah, like I said, not in your wildest dream, I'm sure.
The whole movie is filled with talent, people portraying iconic musicians and folk musicians and beat writers and early 60s stuff. And basically they casted people that are relatively close to what they would have sounded like. And but they also didn't want it to be impersonators. It's kind of it's an homage to the legends, but close enough to be like, wow, yeah, it does sound like him. So I didn't have to take any classes or anything like that. They liked my rendition of Folsom Prison Blues, and I could hit all the notes that Johnny could. So I just try to sing a little bit like him, and it works. It works.
That's good. You have a good deep voice like he does, or he did, I should say.
Yeah, I can hit those notes. It's funny, man. when I was a kid, I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket, but I taught myself how to sing. And my range, actually, my producer Brian just said last week, I was singing some background vocals for another guy's album. He's like, "Wow, your range is like doubled since I met you." So it just keeps getting better and better. And I feel like I'm finally doing what I'm supposed to do. You know, it just keeps getting better. And engineering, it just kept getting worse. So I walked away from it, and now I'm much happier.
Well, that's good. You don't want to get to the last week of your life and find out, you know what, I wish I would have done that.
Right. That's how I think about it.
Good
it was
choice.
a risk. It's definitely the starving artist is a real thing, but I don't know. It's a matter of the heart, and I just can't help it.
Well, it doesn't sound like you're starving because you do other things.
Yeah, you do what you have to do to pay the bills.
Yeah.
You're
not alone on that. There's very few people that I talk to that can do music full time, and when they do, they do it for a stretch, and then it's back to something else. And they're usually pretty good at something else. Do you know Ashley Puckett?
Yeah.
Okay, I had her on the show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I actually knew Ashley. It's been a few years I met her. Because I've been part-time DJing, like for karaoke and stuff, and parties and whatnot, for about 8-9 years, and I met her through that probably 5 years ago. She dabbles in that too.
Yeah, and she also bungee jumps and skydives and does some crazy ass stuff.
Oh man, to each their own. I'm not a fan of heights, which is funny because I've been working on roofs and up on ladders and stuff for the last year, so I kind of had to get over my fear of heights. But jumping out of a plane, that's a whole another ballgame.
It's one thing to climb up on something, but jumping off it's not a good thing. I don't recommend that.
Yeah. I have to agree with you there.
Yeah, so you never know if they got that bungee cord at the 5 and dime, and it's not going to work for you. Or I don't know, but not for me.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah,
likewise.
I think playing music, and especially live, has an element of I could fail and be humiliated for the rest of my life element to it,
Yeah, it is. It can be scary. Stage fright's a real thing. Luckily, I don't have it too bad. Maybe a little bit beforehand, but then once you're on stage, it's just kind of the adrenaline takes over, and you're in the middle of doing your thing, and the fear just kind of goes away from me. I've always enjoyed public speaking and things like that, so I guess I'm lucky in that respect. A lot of people are terrified.
Yeah, that's the number one phobia, I understand, is public speaking, let alone remembering lyrics to 50 songs and rattling them off flawlessly. Yeah.
Well, the acting, kind of plays right into that.
Yeah.
I did some live performance as well, and, that can be nerve-wracking because if you forget a line, the show must go on.
Yeah, but, there's no safety net.
How? I've been in situations like that, but, you get through it and you learn from it.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little off script. Line, please.
Yeah, right. That happened to me one time. I actually... I forgot a line, or I skipped a line in this play I was doing, and I was playing a drunk deadbeat dad, and so my son in the play was sitting there, and he just let me hang. He was like, "I'm not getting you out of this. You got into it." So what I did is I started like burping for it felt like an eternity, but it might have been like 5 seconds. Yeah. I just kind of burped because I was a drunk, and I thought about what I was going to do, and I just flawlessly was able to forget about that missed line and just kind of made it work. And he fell right into place behind me, and nobody noticed. So that was a close call. But the show must go on, Well, improvise.
That's good advice. If you're ever in the middle of a concert with 5 million people listening and you forget the lyrics, you can burp. How about that?
Just burp, that's all. It actually worked for my character. It made my character seem a lot more disgusting than he was. So it was more realistic, actually. And I actually, in the following performances for the next couple of weeks, I did that every single time.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, you never know.
Best supporting burper. They might have an award for that. That's good. We kind of segued off into your acting more than anything, but it'll be a fun thing to listen to.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all performing, you know, and it's all tied together. And now I'm doing the acting and singing together with Johnny Cash and everything. So it works, bro.
Yeah, well, yeah, I hope you're doing Willie Nelson someday. That'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't really look or sound like Willie Nelson, but...
good luck to you. I love your stuff. You're going to do well.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and thanks for having me.
You and me go back to those young hell-raising days. Wasn't a rule we didn't break. Just a couple of rowdy renegades. When we blew it up, tore it down like Jesse James had come back around. Getting caught, getting high. I took your blame and you took mine. Saying, hey bro, I got your back. Dare anybody to go jacking with that? No, hey bro, I know you got mine. Yeah, some things run thicker than a bloodline. Got you covered, my brother, from another mother. Down any back road you might go. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Hey, bro. Hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Gotta say, beats me how we made it through life, but here we are, living the life. A little bit smarter, but we're slide sometimes. So we go for broke, pay the cost. Always said we were cut out of the same cloth. Some things never change, and here's one more that's still the same. Hey bro, I got your back. Dare anybody to go jacking with that? No, hey bro, I know you got mine. Yeah, some things run thicker than a bloodline. Got you covered, my brother, from another mother. Down in a back road you might go. Hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh. Hey bro.
You've been listening to the Better Each Day podcast radio show with Bruce Hilliard. We'll be back with a new horizon, but until then, honor the future. It comes with a lifetime guarantee.
We're all just trying to make the next day a bit better.